Well, I have to say this about Business and Leadership Stories, our weekly show with Sachin Bhandary from the Story Co. No more can people who don't take an active interest in business and finance, ladies, gentlemen, who turn around and say, it's not the world of numbers for me, the world of business. No more can they use that excuse because this is as simple as it gets. He narrates one story, a business story, and then a moral of the story or a lesson that we can learn in marketing and business terms. Sachin is a business story coach and trainer. He's somebody who helps companies, startups, and professionals break the culture of MBA speak, using the power of stories to achieve their business goals with speed and ease. He does this via coaching, consulting, and training. What's up, my friend? How are you?
I'm very good, Rishi. Looking forward to our chat today.
It's quite crazy, man, that post the pandemic, I think for a prolonged period of time, theaters north of the Vindhyas still didn't see any footfalls. We're lucky that Karan Johar's Rocky and Rani changed that. Before that, Yashaj Films and Shah Rukh Khan's Pathan changed that.
Mhm.
But the South was largely unaffected. The moment the pandemic got over, people were thronging theatres in Telugu cinema, in Tamil Nadu, in Karnataka, and there's got to be a lesson that we can learn from South Indian cinema that they managed to stay relevant through the pandemic and through life's ups and downs. You'd like
Right.
to narrate a story that involves Anurag Kashyap, the famed otter.
I'd love to. Rishi, and also interestingly, even after the pandemic, South Indian movies were drawing North Indian crowds into theaters and not North Indian, Hindi cinema. So that was pretty interesting. And there was a lot of conversation about what's working for the South and what can Bollywood learn from it, etc., etc. And I stumbled upon this interesting interview of Anurag Kashyap with Bharadwaj Rangan from Chennai, who's a movie critic himself, very well known. And AK is, whether you agree with the man or not, whether you like his movies or not, you have to accept that he is a very good commentator on the business of movies. So he had something interesting to say as to why Bollywood is not working as well as South Indian cinema. He said that, the problem lies with the trial room generation. Now, that's a term that he's come up with on his own. And what does room generation mean? People who are second or third generation into the movie business. And he says that all of these people have always lived in the movies. So their reference point is always the business of cinema or movies itself. So if they want to, let's say, Pirates of the Caribbean, it becomes Thugs of Hindustan. If they want to make something like Mad Max, it becomes Samshera. So their point of reference or their examples or the starting point is not from real life and things that are happening around our country. It tends to be from cinema itself, and that's why sometimes they are not completely connected with the masses. Whereas if you look at South Indian cinema, while there are second and third generations over there, lot of the artists, lot of directors, and even actors for that matter, are coming from different walks of life, from rural parts of the country. Their stories are more rooted, and they know about the struggles of common people, about stories that fascinate them, and hence they were and they still are able to create cinema which really gets the masses going, and that's something that Bollywood can learn from the South Indian cinema, Tollywood and Sandalwood. That's Karnataka cinema. Yes.
Absolutely. If you don't know what it's like to take an auto or public transport like buses, and you lived, in air-conditioned Havelis, no disrespect. I mean, those are circumstances that life throws at you. But if you haven't made the effort to go out and find out about the real India, then you will only tell stories that others have told before. What's the lesson
Right.
that we can learn from this? The all-important marketing and communication lesson, please.
So just before I get into that, AK also gives us very interesting specific example about Bollywood. He says that whenever a Bollywood movie is being shot, when they come to a real life location, the first thing that they do is that they will wipe and clean the streets, and the road no longer looks like an Indian road,
True
looks
that.
like something from the US or Dubai. And that itself sort of creates a disconnect between the viewers. And that's not something that happens generally in the South, at least for the most part. The interesting lesson in this, Rishi, is that very often we tend to fall back to the way things have worked. Whereas new ideas and new people coming in and trying to tell us to do things differently is something that may actually work, which is what has happened in South Indian cinema. So, for instance, it's better to be open to new ideas rather than falling back on things that have already worked, because what's worked in the past may not work in the future. And from a communication standpoint specifically, what AK, Anurag Kashyap, does really well is that while he makes a statement, he also has the ability to pull out specific examples. So, this specific example of Bollywood washing the streets or the trial room generation people. So, a lot of times I see business leaders, founders, and all of these folks talking about broad stroke stuff that, oh, this market is very good, etc., etc. And they're not able to give specific examples, even if you ask them. And that, I think, is actually a barrier to communication, because your audience does not really understand the gravity of the statement that you're making or the reality of it. And that's something that I think more people should pick up specific examples while speaking.
Spectacular. Win with Stories, the newsletter, I think is epic. You guys should go and check it out on LinkedIn. If you want Sachin to enhance your business storytelling skills, if you want to revamp your company in unique, novel ways, this is the man, along with his partner Ranjini and the Story Co, who will help you do that. How can people reach out to you, my friend?
Thanks, Hrishi. Yes, simple. Go on LinkedIn, type Sachin Bhandary. Sachin is easy. Bhandary is Bhandary. And on my profile, there's a link which says get in touch or stay in touch. You can either subscribe to my newsletter, also ask me if I can run some programs for your enterprise. But also, interestingly, I've started open live online courses called Story Punch for marketing and content. There's another one called Founders Pitch for founders and entrepreneurs. And anyone who wants to showcase, discover and showcase their expertise on LinkedIn, there's Ace LinkedIn with Stories. So yeah, look forward to some people getting in touch.
Lovely. Sachin will be back next week on Business and Leadership Stories right here, and we look forward to welcoming him back on episode number 18. Thank you, my friend. Bye-bye.
Look forward to it, Hrishi. Thank you very much.
94.3 Radio 1.